Hey guys, welcome to the end of your week. This is Friday, June 3rd, and I've got a hand for you from last night's RBC game. This is going to fall under the theme of being able to punish the opponents when they get out of line. That's not to say they've necessarily done anything wrong, but we need tools to collect a penalty even at part score levels particularly when we don't have a fit. And when they step into an auction where they just don't have enough firepower to take the requisite amount of tricks to not get a poor score. So it's board 11 from last night. We're just going to go down a couple of paths and focus on how to punish East-West when they get into this auction. So first decision point is with South here. My partner passed. I was playing with Henry last night. He is fairly conservative about opening the bid, definitely tighter, more sound with his bids than I am. That's not an indictment or a pejorative or anything like that. It's just to say he's a little bit more old school about having his values than I am. And it's okay to have different styles, even within a partnership, especially if you understand that about the other partner. So he passed, and West, I think, probably should pass and did at our table. And I made the normal opening bid of 1 diamond with the north hand. So we came to another decision point here with East, which is whether you want to get involved on this hand with, say, a preemptive 2-spade jump overcall. So rather than just telling you what's right and what's wrong, let's list some pluses and minuses of, potentially bidding 2 spades. So in the plus column is the fact that we've got a passed partner. We have a 5 count. We are not vulnerable, and the opponents have opened one of a minor, which means that they have less tightly defined their hands. The more wide open the opponent's auction is, to the point where you're considering a preempt, the more effective your preempt is going to tend to be, because they have yet to figure out, like, obviously, if South knew what North's 13 cards were at this point, let's take that ridiculous extreme, South would be well placed to just do whatever was right. And the more South knows about North's hand, the easier his ability to just do the right thing when East overcalls will be. So all that being said, one of the minor openings are fairly nebulous. They are wide-ranging point-wise, 11 to 21. They're wide-ranging shape-wise. We don't know if it's a balanced hand yet. We don't know what the high card point strength is. It's just a little more wide-ranging than it would be if North had, say, opened 1 heart, and now South has a key piece of information. Oh, my partner has 5 hearts. He can judge whether there's a heart fit or not, or whether North had opened 1 no trump. Okay, preempts aren't going to be quite as effective then, because South can just do the accounting. He has a very tight picture of his partner's hand. And from the flip side, this is why we strain to make bids that define our hand pretty tightly as quickly as possible, because they do things like take the teeth out of preempts that our opponents can make, because our partner's just well placed to be the captain on the auction. Okay, so we're going back to our pluses and minuses for East potentially overcalling 2 spades here. In the minus column is the suit quality. Okay, you do have the ace. That's actually a detriment. We'll get back to that in just a second. But you don't have good spot cards, right? You have ace 10, 8, 6, 5, 4. It would be so much better if you had a suit that was, say, the ideal is king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. If you have king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, what that means is you have 5 tricks of offense and very likely no tricks of defense. Okay, if one of your opponents has a singleton and the other one has the ace, you've got no tricks of defense. And that's what we want when we preempt. In an ideal world, again, like, I would encourage you to think of things in terms of, we're going to put this in the plus column and this in the minus column. And we're going to hone our judgment over the amount of hands we play, such that we get a better feel for what works and what doesn't work. But suits missing the ace are better for preempts, because that offense to defense ratio that you're looking for, where I have a lot of tricks on offense and not many on defense, that is what's ideal for a preemptive action. So, like, look at this suit, at the layout that's actually on the table. And I want you to think about how many tricks of offense you have when the spades are wedged behind you. Well, let's see. We can take the ace of spades, or we could lead a low into the jack and they pop the queen. But then look, your only tricks on offense are the ace of spades and a long spade. All your spot cards are covered by souths. Okay, so if we think about leading a spade, like say we led the 4 of spades, it was queen, jack 2. We now have ace 10, 8, 6 left, and south has king 9, 7, x. So south has all of our spots covered by 1. That's not the situation we want to be in. And we're going to end up with 2 tricks of offense. And then back to this idea of why we don't want the ace when we preempt. Think about the defense of this hand. Okay, if the opponents play, say, clubs or diamonds, for all we know, it could still be their hand for a heart contract. We are providing a lot of defensive value in that partner can lead her singleton spade to our ace, and now we can give a rough. Okay, so we're potentially talking about 2 tricks of defense and only 2 tricks of offense. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. Compare it with having king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, where we've got 5 tricks of offense and no tricks of defense. That's the kind of hand, the ideal that we want to have when we preempt. It should only make sense to you that preempting conditions are most ripe when the offense to defense ratio is high. One of the reasons you're preempting is because you don't want to defend the hand. One of the reasons you wouldn't want to defend the hand is when your offense to defense ratio is high. And the offense to defense ratio being high is another self-evident maybe thing about that, is that the more offense you have, the less the penalty is going to be in 2 spades doubled, right? King, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. They can't stop you from taking 5 tricks on offense. I don't care if the trumps break 7-0. Okay, so all that being said, I'm not 100% sure what I would do with this hand. I might be a 2-spade bidder. I might decide that the positives outweigh the negatives, and I might be a disciplined passer here. But let's go down the path of what happens if East is to overcall 2 spades here. What you should do is South at this point. Well, there's 2 options. You could bid a natural 2-no trump. Okay, that would be natural and invitational. Partner's going to know you're really close to having been able to open the bidding. And it would just be natural with a spade stopper, and probably without 4 hearts because you didn't make a negative double. That's one idea. The other idea is, in these situations, generally to make a trap pass when you are long in the suit that they've bid on your right. So we pass here. We can't double because doubles, almost everybody plays those as negative. West passes, and then as North, like I had the most obvious in the world balancing double. I'm short in their suit. I have support for all of the other suits. Do I worry that I don't have 4 hearts? No, I don't. I'm 5-4-3-1. I'm short in their suit. I need to protect my partner when he's got a hand like this. And now he just, instead of responding to the takeout double, passes it to say, hey, thanks for doubling on the back end. You didn't promise significant extra values. You didn't promise 4 hearts. You just said I'm short in spades and I've got the other suits, and I'm very happy to defend 2 spades doubled here. And if we look at the double dummy, so we got this down 3 for tied for top, 94%. And this isn't to pick on anyone who bid 2 spades. I might have bid 2 spades myself. There are plenty of warning signals, but there's some upside to it. The trumps certainly didn't have to be this bad either. If you look down here, it turns out that East-West can make 5 tricks in spades, and North-South doesn't have a game. Okay, so 500 rates to be really a good score on this hand. And again, like if there's one thing I can, or 2 things I can, let's go with one thing that I can give you about preempts. It's that you want the offense to defense ratio to be high. Ideal is king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. Okay. Before we leave this hand, and I'll let you go for the day and wish you a good weekend and all that good stuff, let's go down one more path that could have been achieved if my partner had decided to open 1 spade with the south hand. And I think this is super close. I always like to open anything that moves, but I got no problem with pass here. Let's go back to the beginning of this auction. Let's say that South opens a spade, and this time it might be West that gets into trouble, and we're going to need a different way of punishing them when they get out of line. I think it's pretty normal for West to make a takeout double here. A lot of the people in the field did. I would make a double with the West hand. I have short spades, ideal takeout double shape. That's 4-4-1. Not that you have to wait around for 4-4-4-1 hands because you're going to be waiting a long time. 5-4-3-1 is fine. 4-4-3-2 is fine. We just want to be short in their suit. We want to have something resembling an opening hand, which is what West got here. So the tool that North needs in his bag here is a redouble. Redouble should generally say, I have a good hand and I'm interested in defending / penalizing them. And the bids for North-South from here are, we double anytime we have length in the suit that they run to. And failing that, we bid to our own contract. A pretty good rule of thumb to have is a redouble in an auction like this either forces us to double their contract with length, or to be forced to at least 2 no trump for our side. That's a kind of standard expert agreement. So East might pass here. South should certainly pass. There's no reason to bid 2 clubs, nothing like that. Partners promising a good amount of high cards here. Even if we're on a 5-1 fit, we ought to be able to make the contract on power. And let's see, North-South can actually make 1 spade here, right? 7 tricks and spades. So we're going to pass this as South. And now, you know, I saw once that West ran with 2 diamonds. Let's go down that path. North would double. I have diamond length. 4 or more is a good rule of thumb. And if we defend 2 diamonds doubled, the idea is lead trump over and over and over. We have them outgunned on high cards. The way they're scoring their tricks is by trumping things. How do we stop them from trumping things? We lead trumps on our own. So that's one auction I saw. 2 diamonds doubled. That was obviously not good for East-West. Another thing that could happen is West could pass the decision back to, well, West can't pass the decision, right? He'd be playing 1 spade redoubled. Let's undo that. Undo this. What if West bids like 2 clubs? Okay, once again, North can double, lead trump. Let's say that East runs to 2 hearts, which you probably should do at this point. Well, South can pass, right? I don't have heart length. There's nothing interesting to say about my hand. Let's see if you can double on the back end. At this point, like, I think North has 2 reasonable choices. North could just bid 3 now. That happened twice in the field last night. Or North could treat ace king third as a 4-card suit, like you just want a penalty double 2 hearts. That happened once for a good result. 2 hearts doubled, went down 2 tricks for 62% for the doublers. I think that's reasonable also for North to pretend like ace king third is a 4-card suit here and make a penalty double. The important thing is redouble generally. I don't have a fit for you, but I do have a good hand, i.e. I want to play defense. And then when the opponents start to run, we pass. If we can't double them, we double them if we have a 4-card suit or longer. We could bid, but let's reserve that for like when you're really shapely. Okay, like South would never want to say bid 2 spades or anything like that on this hand. South just keeps on passing it and seeing if his partner can double with length. All right. And if the auction went this way, like again, when we've got them outgunned high card point wise, we just want to lead trump. So I think like the first 3 tricks here should go queen of hearts, heart, heart, and take 3 of the trumps out of East and West hand. When we have these redouble auctions, we end up doubling them on a part score level or on any sort of deal where we have most of the high card points, they're bidding on shape. We want to be leading trump. And if we, you know, queen X of trumps is usually normally in a vacuum a bad lead, but if we look at the double dummy here, like it's one of the leads that leads to down 2. And plus 300 would be a really good score. For North-South here, it was 62%. And North-South doesn't have any game they can bid, right? They don't have the tricks for no trump. They've only got 8 tricks for no trump, 9 tricks in clubs, 7 tricks in hearts. There's no game North-South. So if we can get 300 on defense, that's definitely a score that we want to take. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video on how to punish them when they step out of line. Again, stepping out of line doesn't necessarily mean they've done anything wrong. They've done perhaps a probabilistically sound thing, but have stepped into a mess we need a way to express that they're in trouble. That's your redouble card. That's passing when you've got length bid by the suit on the right. And that's reopening with a balancing takeout double when we're the partner, as in the first example. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll be back with you next week with some more hands from tournaments that I play in where I feel like there's good teaching points. All right. Hope you all are safe and happy and enjoying these videos. Thank you for your support. Tell a friend. Need to get to 100 subs by Jan 1. Keep the pirate ship afloat. All right, guys. Take it easy.